Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane, or at least a relaxing topic so you can just sort of drift off. I'm your host, Marco Timpano, and we do hope that you listen and sleep. Joining me today is a dear friend. We've had him on the podcast before. We had him even on a Christmas episode, if you listen to those holiday episodes that we had around Christmas or in December, depending on the holiday that you celebrate. Chris Bond, welcome back to the Insomnia Project.
Thanks, Marco. It's fantastic to do a repeat visit to this beautiful, calm podcast.
You know, Bondo, I call you, your name is Chris Bond, but I call you, as well as some of your friends, Bondo. Is it okay if I call you that during this show?
You can call me whatever you want, bud.
Great.
Yeah.
Chris Bond, my buddy Bondo, has a delightful podcast that I highly recommend called We Like Theme Parks. And you can catch that on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to this podcast. How is your podcast going, Bondo?
It's going really great. Thanks for asking, Marco. It's a unique podcast that really is all about theme parks. And if you are a Disney fan or a Universal Studios fan, we spend a lot of time talking about, well, maybe a little less talking and more just having a good time and palling around, doing some fun, unique takes on information from the parks. And it's not just news or editorial stuff. Really, it's more dreaming, coming up with new ideas, talking about our favorite things, and just having a good time. We have a lot of original content. So if you're just looking for a funny, enjoyable place to have a laugh and talk about Disney parks or Universal parks, whatever is near and dear to you, you want to check out the We Like Theme Parks podcast. And we're everywhere that your podcasts are available.
And you'll find it in our show notes as well. I also want to add this, Chris, to that. If you just need a podcast that's just going to talk about light things and that's just going to be uplifting, and you don't need to listen to anything that's going to take you down, I recommend We Like Theme Parks.
Well, thanks, Marco. We do keep things pretty positive. In the same way you keep things very calm here, we like to keep things very up and bright on our show.
There you go. I always love talking to fellow podcasters, because it's such a wonderful, inclusive community that, you know, supports one another. So I'm so happy. I've been a guest on your podcast. You're a guest on mine. We always look out for each other as podcasters. And of course, we always look out for our listeners.
Well, I'll be honest, Marco, you were kind of an inspiration for me getting into this podcasting community. So I thank you.
Well, listen, I more than thank you. We have a love, Chris, for you and I don't know. I don't know a friend that likes cottaging more than you. I feel like you and I are, I'm going to use the Italian term paisanos. I'm going to say kismet. I'm going to say we're brothers, especially when it comes to cottaging. So tell me, Bondo, what is it about cottaging that you love?
I think there's three major things, maybe four. Well, let's start with three.
Sure.
First of all, it's company. And it's the company you keep at the cottage that is so special. You don't just go to the cottage alone, typically. You're going, if you have your own cottage, you're usually entertaining someone or bringing some guests or family, or some friends, what have you. And you're obviously bringing your top peeps to this cottage event. You're not bringing the bottom of your list. These are the friends you really care about, because how many really good summer weekends do you have when you're cottaging in Canada?
Right.
It's a finite number. Maybe let's call it 10. Like you have 10 premium weekends.
Like May to September. By the time the second week in September hits, even maybe if it's a good summer, you've got October, up to October, but then it gets too cold. And if your cottage isn't winterized, you're closing it down for the season.
No, absolutely. So this is why I say premium, because I think in June it's still buggy and cool. Once you get into July and you get into August, there's your 8 weekends there, and then maybe the first couple of weekends in September. I feel like those are your premium weekends, maybe even that last week of June. So let's call it 13 weekends.
I agree with you 100% thus far, Chris.
Well, great. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I would say number 2 is food. I think we both like to eat. And when you cottage, I feel you make a bit of a spectacle out of the food that you're bringing up. It might
Sure.
be something that you don't typically eat. You're going to have your regular cottage food, your hamburgers, your hot dogs, but then there's always that spectacle meal when you might be doing a lobster or some kind of seafood or some kind of, I'm having guests over, I want to wow them with
Right.
this cottage food. And these are the marquee meals. So there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of love and care that goes into those meals.
Sure.
And and of course, as a guest, if your host provides this beautiful meal at a cottage, there's nothing better.
Of
Especially if you get
course.
a chance to enjoy it outside, that just double downs on the enjoyment of that meal. So
Yes.
those are two line items. The third one, I would say, after food and company, is sunshine. Having an opportunity to just soak up that vitamin D, in quiet and calm, and not just like Marco. You and I both live in the city,
Right.
so I mean we can get that sun, but it's that atmosphere that's lost.
Yep.
And it's just something that you can't understand unless you live in the city and you go out of the city to
Sure.
experience the calmness, the tranquility, and just the warmth of having that very small community experience. So I think those are kind of the three hallmarks for me. But also the fourth thing is just the activity. You'll be
Yeah.
doing some things that you don't typically get to do in your day to
Sure.
day because you have the time to,
Yes.
whether it's to just even play a board game with your friends,
Mhm.
or you're going to take out that, what do you call that thing you stand, a paddle board. You're going to take out
Sure.
that
Yeah.
paddle board for the first time and enjoy it. These are things you don't get to do in your day to day. They're things to look forward to. So that would be the fourth slot, would be activity. So all of those things are things that I love, and I know
Right.
that you enjoy them as well.
So
So
for me, one of the things that I have to say is going to the cottage with you, Chris. Um, you know, we hang out in the city.
mhm,
We do very sort of city things,
yeah.
and we've lived busy lifestyles in the city. And there's something about being on the beach at the cottage in a folding chair with, beverages or snacks and an umbrella shading us and just sitting there and just talking about whatever. Like there's no, like you said, there's nowhere to be. And there's something about being in the water with friends, different location, splashing around, swimming, playing frisbee, or whatever water type games that we might have. There's just something so beautiful about that.
Well, Marco, you just mentioned all four of my cottage food groups:
Okay.
company, food, environment, and activity, all in your
Yep.
storytelling moment just now. So, yeah, obviously there is a connection with relaxation, a
Sure.
connection with fun, food, but more importantly, you got to be surrounded by the right people that really kind of take that experience to the next level. And it's because we've all had that same environment. You're in the water, having that same frosty cocktail with the sun shining, doing that cool activity with someone from that's a friend of your wife's that you don't know
Sure.
very well.
Yeah.
It totally changes the experience.
100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
you got to be
Now,
4 for 4.
listen, I will spend any day of the week, any time of the year with you in a cottage because you do it right.
Thank you.
And I just have a great time with you. So I implore our listeners to find that perfect cottage or camping or a hanging out buddy to be with. I want to talk to you about hot tubs, going from the beach to hot tubs. You love hot tubs.
I am a hot tub guy. Yes.
Tell me about that because I don't know that about you. My wife is a hot tub person as well,
hmm
but I want to know why you love it.
I'm a fairly large person. And so relaxation is something that I really enjoy. I have pretty rough knees. I have some lower back pain from time to time, and just comfort on another kind of level of comfort is something that I really enjoy.
Okay.
And a hot tub isn't something that I have access to. I mean, I have a tub, and I do
Sure.
live in a condo, but our condo does not have a hot tub.
Okay.
So a hot tub is almost like that special treat, that special thing that you come up upon every blue moon. Um, whether it's at a fancy hotel or some kind of vacation experience that has a hot tub, Maybe you have that friend who has the cottage with the hot tub. Now
Ooh,
now it's a fifth food group. Uh, and it's all about that relaxation. But again, it's the company and the conversation. You're going to
sure.
be with good people. You're going to have a really comfortable conversation, because if you want to find somebody at their most open, it is when
Yes.
they're being just stewed to a nice simmer in a beautiful hot tub, completely relaxed, ready to talk about anything, and just let those cares just float away.
Jets or no jets in the hot tub for you?
I like jets. I like very hot.
Okay.
Very hot is important, because there's you can get into a hot tub that is not too hot or hot enough,
Right.
and it just limits the experience. If you can just walk in and not be affected, then it's not a good hot tub. You have to
Right.
ease in and be like, ooh, oof, yeah. Then you know you're in a good place. Now that might
Well,
mean that you can't stay in there as long, but
sure.
that's okay. If you are at a cottage, there is nothing more refreshing and just invigorating for your body than
Yes.
the hot tub, and then the cold plunge, and then back into the hot tub, rinse and repeat.
Well, listen, I think they're called hot tubs for a reason and not lukewarm tubs.
Thank you.
So I
I
think I
would
think you got something
I
going
would
on there.
agree.
All right. So I need to tell our listeners this. Before we started today's episode, I had texted Chris and I said, Chris, would you be a guest on my podcast? Because A, you're a great guest, you're a good friend. And Chris, you texted me back, what are we going to talk about? Which is something a lot of my listeners will talk about, especially people who are funny or will text me about people who are funny and understand that this podcast is about a chill, calm conversation. And so you gave me a bunch of things, and they were very revealing because I didn't know that we shared so many commonalities and things that we liked. And this next thing is something I really like. And I'm so glad to have a brother who, like you, who loves root beer.
Oh my goodness.
Because that was one of the things you texted me. So let's talk. This is the first time we've ever done this. Let's talk root beer.
I can't wait. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first of all, what is your preferred brand of root beer? Because I think this is important.
Presently, well, when you go to the store,
Yeah,
there's not a lot of options. You
sure.
have an AMW option,
Yes,
or a Barks option, possibly, or a mug option.
you're right.
Now, we're giving you very Canadian flavors, and I'm sure in the US there might be different brands.
Sure. There's dads too. Every once in a while, you'll find a dads.
Dad's is more like a premium experience.
Yes, it
To
is.
have a Dad's root beer, it's a little more creamy. But so I prefer, if I'm looking for a middleman, if I can't get to a
Sure.
Dad's,
Because dads is
or
also pricier
it
too.
is far more expensive.
And they're in glass bottles. And so
Correct.
they've got more of a, a beer or ale feel to them, right?
Oh, it's definitely nose in the air kind of root beer.
Yes. Okay.
Where a
Right.
6 pack of this root beer is going to run you $12,
12. Yeah.
$15. It's not a dollar something for a 2 liter,
Mhm.
which I'll happily work with. I'll happily buy A&W. I think you get the right around of creaminess and
Sure.
richness in an A&W. But if you want the full experience, yes, Dad's is the way to go. There's some other ones, some other kind of seltzers and things that dabble in
Sure.
root beer. The Pop Shop was always had a really nice root beer. I don't know if
Yes.
I'm being too Canadian again, but
Oh, it's fine.
and then recently in the past, I would say 3 or 4 years, Marco. I don't know if you've like dabbled in this. They've had alcoholic beverages with root beer that were
Yes, they have.
available in the liquor store,
Mhm.
and that has become a hallmark of my cottage experience. Was
Oh,
having,
really?
yes,
Okay.
alcoholic root beer and even some alcoholic cream sodas. I guess I like the sweet stuff, but
Sure.
root beer, without a doubt, a nice creamy rich root beer with the just enough alcohol to give you that zest, that
Yes.
spike. um, Definitely a part of my cottage experience, but you have to be careful, because obviously root beer, a lot of sugar.
Yes, of course.
It's not the kind of thing where you can sit there and power back light beer all day long. This is kind of a topper drink. Maybe at the end of the night you have one or two.
Right.
This isn't something you can be just drinking all day long, because
Sure.
you're gonna have it's gonna be funky for your body. So, but yeah,
Of the middle level root beers, I think I cut you off before you told us which one is your preference?
Oh well, what I was saying is I think A&W is the one that although you would group it with Barks and Mug,
Yeah.
I mean you could also buy a no name brand like a PC brand group. But that's not
They're
you
not
can.
the same.
It's
They're
not.
just it's not the same.
The
I'm sorry,
quality
like
is definitely
yeah.
poor. Yeah.
Mhm.
You can also try a root beer with a Soda Stream. I've not dabbled in Soda
Oh,
Stream
yes.
root beer,
Yes.
and it's not. I don't find it to be as good as A&W. Hires is another great root
Oh,
beer, but
Hires,
it's a
right.
little
Yes.
more vintage.
Yes,
But recently, Hires came out with an alcoholic root beer,
I did.
very popular and one of my favorites. Also, there's a bit of nostalgia there. I grew up as a kid. There wasn't Barks and Mug. There was
Right.
A&W and Hires, and that's it. And so having the Hires experience again is great. But A&W, if you go to the burger joint A&W and
Yes, which I love.
having the root beer in the frosty mug just makes it taste better. And Marco, I have the frosty mug. I have
Oh,
it.
you have it, eh?
I'm a root beer connoisseur.
Oh,
I
wow.
have the frosty mug. You throw it in the freezer. You pull it out. You pour the thing in. And if you want to add ice too and really double down on the coldness,
Sure.
that's up to you. But if you put just a regular temperature root beer, A&W root beer into that frosty mug, it is ice cold and delicious. Just a really nice way, not only aesthetically and kind of socially, like look at this experience I'm having. The taste is crisp and very refreshing.
Sure. For our listeners who are wondering what is this A&W we're talking about, so A&W is the brand of root beer, and they also have A&W burger joints. I don't know how else to
Yeah,
describe a fast
right.
food chain that uses high quality meats in their products, and their veggie burgers out of this world. I don't know why I'm right now doing an ad for A&W, but if you order a root beer to dine in, they will serve it in a frosted mug, and it's free refills with new frosted mugs. And for me, that's, they won me at that.
Yeah.
Even though I like Barks better, A&W, because of what they do in their restaurants, has really brought me over to their side. So good on them.
Thank you for bringing that up, Marco, because
Yeah.
Barks does have, I know obviously the marketing is Barks has bite. It does have a nice kick of there's a spice there
Yeah.
that is unique to Barks, and it is really tasty.
Mm.
Barks has even dabbled with some cream sodas, some
Yes.
unique cream soda, and they're very good too.
Hmm.
But it is an acquired taste. I think I wouldn't call it a traditional root beer,
Sure.
but it is definitely good. And so if you are willing to dabble and kind of get outside of the regular root beer box, Barks is really nice. But again, I always circle back to the dads, the pop shops,
Right.
the premium carriers when you want to have, especially a cottage experience. Oh
Yeah.
boy, that's a treat. That's really nice, and it's just so refreshing.
Here's what I'm going to say to you, Chris.
Hmm.
You might want to buy when you go the next time you come to my cottage.
Please invite me.
Oh, for sure. Come with a 6-pack or a 12-pack of the Dad's bottled root beer. And then what we'll do is we will just use some dark rum
Hmm.
and make our own adult version of the root beer, because I feel like by adding your own liquor, you can determine how strong or how weak it's going to be.
Hmm.
And, if you have your premium root beer there, while other people might be drinking their beers or their ales, you
Hmm.
can just make yours to the taste, and we both will like that. And I know you like dark rum, and I like dark rum. So I think
Absolutely.
that's going to be our cottage drink this year.
Well, I mean, for a show that I'm supposed to remain calm, you're getting me very excited. So,
Okay.
Studies show that 100% of everybody in the world wants to curl up indoors and do nothing because it's so darn cold out there. That's why many people are turning to Bombas, whose pillowy plush slippers and warm merino wool socks have been said to be the most comfortable in the history of feet. Bombas products have been found to boost coziness by up to 1,000,000%. Okay, enough fake statistics, but could Bombas socks and slippers really be the cure? Go to bombas.com/audio and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO.
With almost 500,000 customers and over $1 trillion of secure payments, Bill isn't new to intelligent finance. It's the proven way to simplify bill pay and maximize cash flow. Want to learn more? Visit Bill.com/proven for a special offer.
Have you ever had a home root beer made in a bar that's on the draft?
No, I
Where
have not.
oh, there's a place not far from my house we went to one time, and we said, "Oh, what's on draft?" And they went through a list of different ales and lagers, and then they said, "Oh, and that's our root beer, our homemade root beer." And I said, "Oh, is there alcohol in that?" And they're like, "No, we use 40 different botanicals to make our own root beer." And they poured me a draft of their homemade root beer. It was out of this world, probably the best
Wow.
I've ever had. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Well,
I'll
I'm
have to
definitely
take you there.
interested. Please.
Now, from root beer, I want to dive into slushies because it seems like you're a big fan of slushies. And I'm not such a connoisseur, but I'd like to hear your take on slushies.
Slushies, I feel there's a bit of a maybe a journey with slushies throughout the years. When you first think of slushy, I think your first instinct is the original slush puppy. I think we all remember the machine from the 80s with
Yes.
the little the hound dog, and it's just sugared slush with a couple squirts of red or blue or purple
Syrup.
syrup,
Right.
and it is delicious. It was fantastic, in so much that when as a kid, and if you can believe this, there was a kid on my block that had a slushy machine in his garage and
Oh,
used to
wow.
sell the slushy out of his garage all summer long. He was a
Wow,
his,
that's
yeah, his dad was giving him a kind of an entrepreneurial experience. So he said, "Son, I'm going to buy you this slushy machine." And kids would be knocking on his garage door all day long, coming in for a slushy, a quarter for a medium, 50 cents for a large. I mean, this was in the 80s.
sure,
You get a
sure.
sense of the pricing. It's changed since then. And then I think the next step in slushydom was the 7-Eleven experience, the big gulp, the very large experience. And now it wasn't kind of fruit tastes, it was sodas, and it was a Coke or a Sprite, these kind of slushies. And then I think the experience where you started to swamp these slushies, swamp meaning combine the tastes.
Oh, I didn't know that was the term.
Yeah, to swamp it, which would mean to take your cherry Coke and then put some Sprite in it too. Now you've made a swamp mix, is what you
I
would
see.
call
Okay.
it. And that was something because when you would go to 7-Eleven, there would be so many variety of flavors, you would be really enticed
I
into
see.
trying that swamp. Whereas in the slush puppy, you were kind of limited to just the handful of fruit flavors that were available. So it was a fantastic experience. So having also there's the connection as a child that I had. I was as a young kid, I played a lot of hockey, and
Right.
depending on how well I played that day would determine if I got a slushie that game. So if I
Oh,
scored a goal or got an assist or just made a really good play that really helped the team defensively, or like I jumped in front of a shot or something like that, or made a big hit, I would get a slushie. That was kind of the rule. So every day
okay.
after the game, I'd go to my dad and I'd say, "Is it a slushie day?" And he would say, "Yep, 2 points." So I would always look forward to enjoying a slushie with my dad after playing hockey. So there was also just that it makes me think of my dad
Oh, of
having a
course.
slushie. And nowadays, when I have adult beverages, because I grew up with slushies, they're such a big part of my childhood.
Sure.
I when I'm having an alcoholic drink, I'm usually reaching, if it's available, for the blender drink, a
Okay.
strawberry daiquiri, a margarita.
Margarita. Sure.
These are all of my favorite things because it's just more slushies, but
Of
alcoholic
course.
slushies. Uh, does it get more refreshing than having a slushed ice blended beverage? I would argue no. I
There you
would
go.
argue no. And the way you're not gulping this thing down, slushies have always been a sipper and a sampler, a scooper. There's so many
Right.
different ways to do it, and it's everyone has a unique approach to enjoying their slushy. And again, if you're into swamping it, making your own slushy.
Do
So
you
there's that.
swamp your slushy?
I do not. I'm a
Okay.
purist. I'm a slushy purist without a doubt.
So your flavors, your top three flavors.
Cream soda, number
Okay.
one. Uh, so pink cream soda, to be clear, because there's different ones. Uh, if
Well, what
there's a
else is
root,
there if it's not pink cream
there's
soda?
a
Oh,
white. There's a
oh,
white
there's the
kind of
white. Of course.
like
Yes, of course.
original.
Yeah.
Maybe even sometimes it's like almost a cola, like a very bright brown, like a caramel almost.
Okay.
Um, So that's number one.
Sure.
Tahiti treat would be number two, which is very
Okay.
similar to a cream soda, but it has, say, unique tropical taste. That would be number two. And I'm always in for a good old fashioned cherry Coke. Cherry Coke is delicious,
Wow.
but nothing normal. Like I don't like Coke or Sprite, or it needs to be flavored. It needs to have that extra sweetness. Coke with lime is also something I really enjoy.
Okay. But you don't
Sometimes,
swamp your slushies.
no, because then I think we're losing the authenticity of the taste of that cream soda. Like if you take a cream soda and mash it with a Tahiti treat, it's not either. This does taste like a lot of sweet,
Sure.
and I think I'm having a hard time kind of getting those notes, those flavors. I don't mean to like literally compare it to wine, but I do enjoy the flavor. And now you're creating a new flavor creation, but some people really like that, and I don't want to judge or
Sure.
discourage. I was listening to your Eat and Drink podcast recently, and you were talking about your quarantini, about mixing up drinks, not being afraid to just go to your bar and try out a few things. And I feel the
Sure.
same way about slushies. If you feel like having some inspiration and just trying some different things on for size, I think you go for it.
Fantastic. And what about the container? Is the container important to you? Like I imagine you want the slush particles to be cold but drinkable. So they need to be small enough to go through the straw, but not so cold that they freeze together, that it still has a liquid or a liquid viscosity to it in your slushy,
Well,
right?
that's a great point, Marco.
Okay.
We should think about when you are enjoying one.
Yes.
Like, I mean, are you a slushy guy yourself?
You know, I'll tell you this. On the right day, at the right time, I enjoy a slushy.
Great.
That said, I do love a properly made frozen margarita type drink or
Hmm.
a frozen daiquiri if it's done well. Now, when we were at your wedding in the Dominican Republic, they
Hmm.
had a drink there. And I don't even know if you were with us because you had so many things you had to do. But do you remember the Bahama Mama?
Oh no, what was that?
Oh, it was so good,
I mean,
Chris.
I've heard of it. What were the flavors?
It was coconut based. So it was coconut, cinnamon, and you could get it with rum, dark rum, or you could get it as is, coconut with a blend of, I want to say, coconut milk. It had a coconutty
Are you
cinnamon
confusing
nutmeg. Yeah,
this with the Coco Loco?
I am. You're 100% right.
Yes,
I
because the
am.
Bahama
Thank you.
Mama I think is something different, and I definitely indulged in many Coco Locos,
Okay.
and
Oh,
it was yes,
thank you for correcting me on that because I
yes,
was totally going in the wrong direction. But you're right. Yeah, it was the Coco Loco, and I had so many at your wedding. Did
yes.
you like it, by the way? Because that was my favorite of all the slushy drinks. The Coco Loco was my favorite.
I
Hey,
feel like that wedding week, which was obviously two of the greatest weeks of my life, and thank you
yeah.
so much for traveling to Punta Cana, Marco. You were a fantastic guest.
Happy anniversary because it was just last week,
Just
right?
last week, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. I'll let my wife know that you've extended that courtesy. I felt like leading up to the wedding, we didn't do too much. Like we did some drinking, but we weren't making it a big thing. And once the wedding was over, we really hit the bar pretty hard, and
sure.
we said let's kind of really extend this party. And that's when I believe you and your wife introduced me to the Coco Loco,
Okay.
and that became the signature beverage for the rest of my vacation.
It was so great. Chris, this was so great. And I have so many more topics I want to talk to you about from your list. So perhaps you and I can continue this for the Patreon listeners that I have. We'll do a longer episodes where we continue doing this. Check out our Patreon page if you want to hear more with Chris. But for now, we've come to the end of this podcast episode.
Well,
And
Marco, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
I want to say this. You are like a fine icy root beer in a frosted glass. You make me happy, you are satisfying, and you're just great to be around. So, Chris, thank you so much for doing this episode with us.
It was my pleasure, Marco. Thank you so much.
Please check out Chris's podcast, We Like Theme Parks. I will say this, you don't have to be an expert in Disney or Universal, because I certainly am not, to enjoy that podcast. Chris, thanks once again. And to all of you, we hope that you were able to listen and sleep.